Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome in episode number 7 of Tadabbur of Surah Al-Kahf, the pondering of Surah Al-Kahf. Today, inshallah, we will start the second story in Surah Al-Kahf. Usually people call it the story of the owner of the two gardens, which I think is unfair. It is an unfair title because it ignores one of the two main fellows in the story. I think it is better to call it the story of the two gardens, or maybe the story of the two fellows. But we shouldn't ignore actually the good fellow in the story. Read with me ayah number 32. Please bring the Bridges translation. You have it on PDF, or you have it on the app, or you have the paper book. Please, if you have the paperback book, open page 197. Page 197. Read ayah number 32 with me. أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من الشيطان الرجيم واضرب لهم مثل الرجلين جعلنا لأحدهما جنتين من أعناب وحففناهما بنخل وَجَعَلْنَا بَيْنَهُمَا زَرْعًا, and set forth for them a parable of two men. To one of them we gave two gardens of grapevines, and we bordered them with palm trees, and we placed between them vegetation. So God says to Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, set forth for them. Them, who? Who are they? Generally, the people whom you are giving da'wah, O Muhammad, which means maybe the pagans of Quraysh or the pagans of Arabia, but specifically to the people who told you to segregate between the rich and the poor. Remember, last session we spoke about that issue, and that in the last few ayahs, in the last few signs, we were addressing such bigotry against the poor. So God here says in ayah number 32, give them this parable. Those rich people who are too arrogant to sit with the poor, give them this parable. And set forth for them a parable of two men. To one of them we gave two gardens of grapevines, and we bordered them with palm trees, and we placed between them vegetation. The parable to learn from is about two men whom one of them owns two gardens mainly of grapevines. The Arabic word is the plural of the plural. Grapes is عنب. أعناب is the plural of grapes, which is the word used to mean different types of grapes. So in this garden, he had all types of grapes: red grapes, green grapes, seedless grapes, black grapes, all types of grapes. So it's a huge plantation project. And both gardens are surrounded with palm trees. I'm a farmer originally, and huge trees like palm trees are usually planted on the border of the farm because it gives a nice look, and at the same time they do not occupy much space of space of the land itself. So, and they form a sort of a natural border. وَحَفَفْنَاهُمَا بِنَخْلٍ, and we bordered them with palm trees. وَجَعَلْنَا بَيْنَهُمَا زَرْعًا, and we placed between them vegetation. Wow, what a project, mashallah. In between the two grape gardens, there is vegetation, like vegetables and crops, and they are surrounded, both of them, with palm trees. He just needs a yacht. Who did all that? It's not him. Notice the pronouns. It is all from Allah. Read the ayah with me and notice the pronouns. They do not tell you that he planted this. The ayah don't tell you that he planted this, or that though it is planted by a human being, definitely maybe by him. But either him or the previous landlord. But the ayah always points at Allah, that Allah is the one who planted this. Read ayah number 32. And set forth for them a parable of two men. To one of them we gave two gardens of grapevines, and we bordered them with palm trees, and we placed between them vegetation. It's all from Allah. Continue to read ayah number 33. كلتا الجنتين آتت أكلها ولم تظلم منه شيئا وفجرنا خلالهما نهرا. Each of the two gardens brought forth its crops in full and failed not in the least therein. And we caused a river to burst forth throughout them. So both farms were producing their maximum capacity. I used to work in agriculture, as I told you before, and I know what that means. Every year, at a certain point, most of the flowers fall from the trees, and those who stay are the ones that will become fruits. Then, when they become fruits, it is also important that as much as possible of them stay on the tree and do not fall before they ripen, so that they can become suitable for being picked and sold. So the produce at some years can be better than other years and can be less or worse than other years. That's why the planters or farmers do all what they can, and then they just sit and wait to see what Allah is going to do with their work. In ayah number 33, Allah says, both of those two gardens, each of the two gardens, read number 33, each of the two gardens brought forth its crops in full and failed not in the least therein. So these two gardens were everything any farmer or grower would wish for. Plants of good quality, which give the maximum production, because not many flowers fall and not many fruits are falling before they ripen. Also, the source of water is a river flowing just in their midst. Read the rest of ayah 33. It says, وَفَجَّرْنَا خِلَالَهُمَا نَهَرًا. And we caused a river to burst forth throughout them. Believe me, those who work in agriculture know what that means. Many people don't have a source of water that is close to their land. They have to bring the water in channels or pipes through other people's farms. And this causes a lot of problems and friction between landowners. But to have the source of water in the midst of your garden, that's a dream for any grower. If for any reason the trees are not watered on time, the flowers will fall, or the young fruits will fall before they ripen, and the produce of the whole year is gone. So these two ayat explain how perfect this plantation project was. Let's read ayah number 32 and 33 together again and feel how valuable was that gift which Allah gave to that guy. 32 and 33. And set forth for them a parable of two men. To one of them we gave two gardens of grapevines, and we bordered them with palm trees, and we placed between them vegetation. Each of the two gardens brought forth its crops in full and failed not in the least therein. And we caused a river to burst forth throughout them. But unfortunately, many human beings are unappreciative. Read ayah number 34 and see his attitude. وَكَانَ لَهُ ثَمَرٌ فَقَالَ لِصَاحِبِهِ وَهُوَ يُحَاوِرُهُ أَنَا أَكْثَرُ مِنْكَ مَالًا وَأَعَزُّ نَفَرًا. And thus he had riches, so he said to his fellow as he conversed with him, I am wealthier than you and greater in manpower. وَكَانَ لَهُ ثَمَرٌ. Some people thought that it means fruits. However, thamar means a variety of gains. So it means that he was extremely rich. So in the beginning it says, and thus he had riches. That's why we use the word riches. Maybe the translator who really got it right is Imam Mustafa Khattab of the Clear Qur'an. He also used something like that. He didn't use fruit because it does not mean fruit here. Here it means he had a variety of gains. So it means that he was extremely rich. In addition to the 2 gardens, he also had cattle and horses and camels and many other things. He was a millionaire. So the ayah says, so he said to his fellow, as he conversed with him, I am wealthier than you and greater in manpower. He started bragging about being more rich and more powerful. Bragging like that and being arrogant like that is unjust to himself, actually, not to the other guy. Read ayah number 35. And he entered his garden while being unjust to himself. He entered his garden while unjust to himself. He said, I do not think that this will ever perish. Let me check something here. Okay. He said, I do not think that this will ever perish. وَدَخَلَ جَنَّتَهُ وَهُوَ ظَالِمٌ لِنَفْسِهِ قَالَ مَا أَظُنُّ أَن تَبِيدَ هَذِهِ أَبَدًا. His wealth made him arrogant. He thought he can preserve it. Instead of appreciating the gifts of Allah and ask Allah to preserve it for him, he thought that he is self-sufficient and in no need of God. In Surah Al-Alaq, Surah number 96, in page number 410, please mark this page, page number 197. We will come back to it, but I want you now to go all the way to page number 410. Page 410, Surah number 96, Surah Al-Alaq, the clinging form, or Al-Alaq. Okay? It says, ayah number 6 and number 7. كلا إن الإنسان ليطغى أن رآه استغنى. But no, indeed, man surely exceeds all limits, for he sees himself self-sufficient. Which means that when man thinks himself self-sufficient and in no need for God, he goes crazy. He exceeds all limits. And that's a problem. That's a problem. When we think that we don't need God, it's actually, we are literally lost our minds. Go back to page 197, please. Go to page 197, because that's what happened to him. He's gone crazy now. Surah Al-Kahf, ayah number 35 and 36. And he entered his garden while unjust to himself. He said, I do not think that this will ever perish. And I do not think that the hour is ever coming. And even if I am taken back to my Lord, I will most surely find something better than it as a destination. وما أظن الساعة قائمة ولئن رددت إلى ربي لأجدن خيرا منها منقلبا. He has this agnostic mentality, which is, I do not think that there is resurrection after death. I do not think. Agnostic. And even if it happened to be true, I will still be rich. That's hilarious, because he believes that being rich is a part of his character. If at any point he is not rich, then he is not himself. Which means if Allah wants to resurrect him, he must make him rich on the day of resurrection. Like he was rich in life, in the life of this world. Or otherwise, he won't be himself. So narcissistic. That's why if we go back to ayah number 31, go back to ayah number 31 in Surah Al-Kahf, we will find that God described the gold and silk and brocade and such things as a recompense and a gift. Ayah number 31 says, what a wonderful, the last part of it, what a wonderful recompense and what an excellent place of rest. Which means that even if you owned in this life, in the life of this world. If you owned any of that, brocade, silk, gold, whatever, you need to know that you must thank Allah for it and ask Allah to preserve it for you, because it is temporary and it can be lost at any time. Read 31 and feel that meaning from the beginning of 31. For those there are the gardens of Eden, rivers flowing beneath them. In it they are adorned with bracelets of gold and wear green garments of silk and brocade, reclining therein on couches. What a wonderful recompense, and what an excellent place of rest. So all of these things, some people own it in this life, but they have to understand that it's a gift for them. It's a test and a gift for them in this life that they need to thank for it. So let's go back to our narcissist to see how the good guy addressed him about his ignorance, or addressed his arrogance. Read ayah number 37. وقال له صاحبه وهو يحاوره أكفرت بالذي خلقك من تراب ثم من نطفة ثم سواك رجلا. His fellow said to him as he conversed with him, have you denied the one who created you from dust, then from a sperm drop, then formed you as a man? 1 second. Who said that the other guy denies the existence of God? He actually does not deny the existence of God. He actually said in ayah number 36, go to ayah number 36, what the narcissist said is, and I do not think that the hour is ever coming, and even if I am taken back to my Lord, I will most surely find something better than it as a destination. It is clear that he denies the gifts of Allah, and he denies resurrection after death, but he does not deny Allah himself. He does not deny the existence of God himself. He's just unthankful to Allah. Therefore, it was expected that this good fellow would have reminded him that Allah is the provider and that Allah is the sustainer, but not the creator. Why is he telling him that he is denying his creator, the one who created him? Why is he reminding him that God is the creator if he doesn't actually deny that? I was expecting him to say, are you denying the one who provided for you? So why then did he tell him, are you denying the one who created you? It is because our relationship with our Lord is like a contract. And the first clause in that contract is that Allahu huwa al-Khaliq, God is the creator. It came about 200 times in the Qur'an with the expression khalaqa with its derivatives, which means create. And it came 300 other times in the Qur'an in the expression ja'ala, which means make. وَجَعَلْنَا مِنَ الْمَاءِ كُلَّ شَيْءٍ حَيٍّ in Surah Al-Anbiya, Prophets, number 30. And we made from water every living thing, which means we created. So the word make can be also used in the Quran to give the meaning of creation. وَجَعَلْنَا السَّمَاءَ سَقْفًا مَرْفُوعًا, also in Surah Al-Anbiya, number 32. And we made the sky a preserved ceiling, and made other expressions also like originate. يبدأ هو الذي يبدأ الخلق ثم يعيده. It is he who originates the creation and restores it. Also صور, design. هو الذي يصوركم في الأرحام كيف يشاء in Surah Ali Imran, ayah number 6. It is he who designs you in the wombs. So all of these terms are used in the Quran to serve the meaning of creation. So when the good fellow reminded him that Allah is the creator, he was reminding him with his contract with Allah, with the first term of the contract with Allah. This fellow is really, really wise. You see who benefited from who? It is the rich guy who is now being advised wisely by the poor guy. Go back to ayah number 28. Please go back to ayah number 28. I think page 196. Ayah number 28. It says, and keep yourself patient in the company of those who pray to their Lord morning and evening, seeking his countenance, and do not turn your eyes away from them. Being around with companions like this is good and beneficial. At the same time, there are people who will regret having the wrong friends and the wrong companions, but it will be too late. Mark this page and go to Surah Al-Furqan, Surah number 25 in page 242. Open page 242. Surah number 25, ayah number 28. Okay, page 242, ayah 28. يا ويلتى ليتني لم أتخذ فلانا خليلا لقد أضلني عن الذكر بعد إذ جاءني. Listen to the tone of regret. Woe to me, I wish I had not taken so and so for a close friend. He misguided me. They will say this on Judgment Day as they are dragged to be thrown in fire. So people will be regretting having the wrong friends, but when it's too late, when they are dragged to be thrown in hellfire, who is actually in risk? It is the good fellow who is in the risk of getting deluded or tempted by the corrupt fellow. So the corrupt fellow is never in risk in the company of the good fellow, because he cannot make him worse. So make sure that you always be with good friends. And we spoke before about the character of a good friend. Back to the good fellow to see how he addressed the narcissist. Go back to page 198. Back to Surah Al-Kahf. Let's see how the good fellow addressed this narcissist. He did something that is very, very unexpected. He bragged as well. Read with me ayah number 37 and 38. 37. His fellow said to him as he conversed with him, have you denied the one who created you from dust, then from a sperm drop, then formed you as a man? But as for me, he is Allah, my Lord, and I never associate anyone with my Lord. لكنه الله ربي ولا أشرك بربي أحدا. He is bragging as well, but not about money, not about wealth, not about power. He is proud of being a believer, proud of being a servant of God. لكنه الله ربي. But as for me, he is Allah, my Lord, which means he is proud of being a servant of Allah. God told us in Surah Ali Imran, go to page 44, please. Go to page 44. Ayah number 139 in Surah Ali Imran, page 44, ayah 139. Allah said, وَلَا تَهِنُوا وَلَا تَحْزَنُوا وَأَنْتُمُ الْأَعْلَوْنَ إِن كُنْتُم مُؤْمِنِينَ. And do not waver nor grieve, for you are the highest as long as you are believers. Not as long as you are Americans. Not as long as you are British. Not as long as you are males. Not as long as you are white. Not as long as you are rich. Not as long as you are believers. It is as long as you are believers. If you think you are better or higher than others because of your race, color, or sex, then you need help. You got the virus. You contracted the virus. And your cure is in this book. Your cure is in this book. Let's stop at this point, and next time, inshallah, we will continue from ayah number 39 in Surah Al-Kahf. Oh Allah, we ask you your love, and the love of whom you love, and the love of every deed that gets us closer to your love. Oh Allah, if you grant us what we love, make it an empowerment for us to do what you love. And if you ever deprive us from what we love, then let it be the things that could have kept us busy from doing what you love. Oh Allah, make your love dearer to our hearts than our families, our wealth, and the cool water on thirst. Oh Allah, We ask you to love us and to let your angels love us and to let your prophets and messengers love us and to let your righteous servants love us. Oh Allah, allow us to be among those who love you and love your angels and love your prophets and love your messengers and love your righteous servants. Oh Allah, with your love, give life to our hearts and let us be as you love us to be. Oh Allah, let us love you from all our hearts and please you with all our might. And let all our love be for you and let all our striving be to please you. Oh Allah, let the Qur'an be the spring of our hearts and the enlightenment of our minds and the banisher of our sadness and the reliever of our distress. Oh Allah, we seek your protection from anxiety and sorrow. We seek your protection from helplessness and laziness. We seek your protection from cowardice and miserliness. We seek your protection from the burden of debts and the tyranny of man. And we seek your protection from disbelief and poverty. And we seek your protection from the punishment of the grave. I ask Allah to add the reward of this tadabbur session to my records and your records and the records of everyone who attended it. Wassalamu alaikum and see you inshallah in the next session.